It's that type of night, gentlemen and ladies, if you're tuning in. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. I want to take time to thank Sean and the group over at Firearms Radio Network for letting us continue to hang out on the network and be part of the gang. I guess we haven't killed off anybody or ticked anybody off too bad yet. Yes! Also want to take time to thank Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. Awesome stuff like this. Yes, no one's taking my Lucky Charms. So, want to thank the preferred target supplier of the Reloading Pod. Jim, who's that? Who is it, Jim? Jim, do you know?
No, never heard of the guy. Never heard of the guy. Hang that target around your neck again. Let me see. Oh, he likes a candy. He likes a candy apple red target. Oh, give me a hint, Mike. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Can you read that?
I can't read it that close. It says, does that say Buckeye Targets? As in Travis Buck?
Yes, it does.
As in Blackfoot in Idaho? Hey, Mike, you ought to throw Travis's phone number, business phone number on there.
I should. Oh, hell. So.
Jason needs to mute something.
There goes the neighborhood.
You want to talk?
All right, so Jason to get settled. Jeremy, the contest tonight has done more in shooting and reloading. You or Jim? I'd say it's a draw. What do you think, Jeremy?
What was that? You actually kind of came through kind of broken up. I didn't catch everything you said.
So I said, the contest for tonight, who's done more in shooting and reloading, you or Jim? I'd say it's even up.
It is.
I have been reading, if that counts.
You're from Arkansas. You can't read.
I do a little YouTubing once in a while.
Oh, you do what I do. Picture manuals. Excellent. All right. So, on a serious note, Jeremy, how you doing? It's been a couple weeks since you've been on.
I'm doing
better the other night, hopefully.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm doing just one day at a time.
Yeah. So, Jim, what have you been doing?
Well, putting money aside in my gun money account, if that counts.
That helps. Have you decided what you're going to buy?
No, not yet. Actually, the truth be told, I'm going to have to buy myself a reloading shed.
So it's a shed.
Prefabricated shed delivered on a truck, 10 by 20, something like that. I'm going to have to take and turn it into an outbuilding and a reloading room.
There you go.
I just don't have the room in this house. I just don't. That's going to take a major investment.
Yeah.
That's what the money's going to go for.
So you know what you could do in the meantime, Jim?
What's that?
You can reload. Right back here.
I can't. I'm not set up, Mike.
Right back
you
here.
Want me to come to Wisconsin?
No. I'm going to show you something that will help you. Okay, see this? Well, you can kind of see it. In amongst the crap, you can kind of see the leg here, and you can see a shelf, and you see a press. Well, that, my friend, that is a Lee reloading stand. Do you see how little space it takes up and how much crap you can pile on it when you're not using it? see that? Give you a second view. So, see how much crap you can pile on that sucker when you're not using it? Look at that. All that stuff I got piled on it when you're not using it. And they're reasonably priced, Jim. So that would allow you to reload for now. Trying to help you. I'm just trying.
Yeah, seeing all that junk laying on top of reloading equipment makes me sick.
The junk is on the stand, not the reloading equipment itself.
Okay.
The difference. But if it makes you feel any better, it doesn't have those infamous letters stamped on it anywhere, and it's paintable, so you could paint it pretty Dylan blue. Yeah?
No.
But it is black, so it's not red. So, no, that got for it.
No.
You too could have a place to reload. Now,
I have the equipment. I just don't have a place to put it yet. I will.
see, that's what I'm trying to help you out. Jason,
Thank you.
Howdy.
What you been up to?
Well, I went shooting last weekend.
Yay!
And I took my RPR out, and I went with a buddy who bought a similar rifle in another brand, and I totally blanked on what he got, but it's in 6.5 also. So we were shooting at the 300-yard range, and towards the end of our day, I shot a .65 MOA. And then I'm like, well, that's it, dude. We're done. This trip's over. Got to end on a good note. And then he shoots one more group, and he shoots a .60. So I had to listen to him brag, how much of a better shooter he is. You know how those cocky kids are.
Yeah.
Was it one of your boys?
No, it's actually he's in the Air Force, and he's stationed about 50 miles from me. I met him online, and he and I hit it off. So we've been shooting a few times together. So, in the Air Force, he's not the brightest in the bunch, but I like veterans, and military people. So, I'm going to hang out with him. What?
Picking on us Air Force types.
Hey, you got to be somewhat smart to make it in the Air Force.
I was waiting for Jeremy to pipe up.
You got to try harder than that, Jason.
He's a good guy. He and we've got plans on going to Nevada and doing some really long range shooting. The 24th of this month, weather providing, but we'll see. And I got my bushing for my next size die, so I am ready to start reloading 6.5. Now I just need a little time.
You're going to next size your 6.5 ammo, and isn't that in a semi-automatic rifle?
No, sir, it's a bolt gun.
Okay, my bad.
And that's it for me.
All right. So I did not do any shooting. I did a bit of playing around and a little bit of reloading. I tried to make another Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable this evening in a rush and failed. So we're still on Wi-Fi. So apologize if there's any roboting going on. However, I did stop by Cabela's today and pick something up.
Yay.
Nice.
Mikey's got a new gun.
Uh-huh. They did the
Savage
fake bolt, tapped and drilled. And that is a 26-inch barrel. Free floated in my lovely plastic stock. 3-position safety with the actuator, all for under $400. And I have a $100 mail-in rebate to send in, so it'll be under $300 when I'm done.
3-position safety?
Yep. Like the old military.
Does it have the full semi-auto setting?
No, that was an option. I didn't get it that time.
Okay.
But I was told I can add it later.
Cool. That's fine.
And there's even though it's got a internal box magazine now, there is the anti-gunner special that I can custom order, where it's the 500 round drum magazine.
Nice.
So
real nice. One man bolt gun, 500 rounds. Boy, you're a force to be reckoned with.
Well, it'd probably take him that many shots to hit his target.
Oh, you opened yourself up with that one, Mike.
Straight for the throat.
Much. I don't know. I would never come back for that one.
Because he knows it's true.
I just had to give a little zinger there. It's been a few weeks.
Have you been thinking about that since you left?
No. Remember, I'm Air Force. It doesn't take me long to come up with witty comeback.
Yeah, but I don't think the Air Force can overcome Arkansas.
Ooh. Well, there is an Air Force base down there.
Because after all, it is called a toothbrush. So that's now we know what it was invented in Arkansas. So I guess the Canuckian can't join us for some reason. I don't know. I haven't heard back from him, so I think he's lost in the snow up there.
He's
probably
striking out lately. What's up with that?
I don't know. So anyway, what were we talking about last week? Anybody remember?
Brass.
Brass.
Oh yeah. Brass. Brass is fun. Brass is nice. What were we doing with the brass? Were we looking at it?
I said brass prep.
Brass prep. Well, what we do? What's brass prep?
Oh, you cut the head off the case to see if you have any head separation.
My hacks up.
You wouldn't dare.
I've got some 308 brass around here I could afford to cut. And if I looked hard enough, I probably got some Burdan primed 303. So, but at any rate, so we're talking about brass prep. And with that, we talked about lubing the cases. We talked about depriming the cases and resizing them at the same time. What else did we talk about?
Trimming?
Trimming? Did we get that far? Kind of, but not really.
I don't think.
I know you don't think. It's probably safer that way.
Zowie.
Sorry, Jim, but you ran into that one. Jim, did you
both arms open
point out the die hole in a press? Is that what you wanted to do right now, Jim?
Did I want to what?
Did you want to point out the die hole in the press like I did last week? You know, with a certain finger. Is that what you wanted to do right now?
Mm-hmm. Straight up. There's a reason why it's called the bird finger.
I'll fly away.
Exactly.
So we had a really good question. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to get the dies ordered because the place I wanted to order the redding body die from, they didn't have it in stock, and it would have had to ship, and it wouldn't have got here in time. So that kind of killed the idea of showing that this week. But we will. That is a promise. So we will have that at some point in time. So so Foster Meyer sent us a question. So he said he reloaded some 30-06 for the first time, and he primed some brass, but did not trim the case down, so they're a bit long in the case. Any suggestions? And he said he also bought a Lyman headspace gauge and noticed that the base of the cartridge sticks up out of the gauge a fraction of the rim. Is there any leeway involved in this? Just got into reloading and love the podcast. So,
What's his name?
Foster
What's his last name?
Myers. Do you know him?
I thought you said Oscar Mayer.
And I thought Jason was going to tear it up about Foster's Lager.
Foster is in Foster Brooks, and Myers is in Myers Department Store, but not spelled the same.
Anyway, so he just seeded primers in 30-06 brass, but he knows the brass is too long. Correct?
He said he didn't trim it down, but the case down, so they're a bit long. Any suggestions? Well, depending on what type of trimming device, the type I have, you could actually still trim it with the primer in it. Some of the other ones you could. If you use the Lee, though, you're not going to be able to. So I guess it depends, honestly, on how long is long. 1,000ths I don't think is going to make a difference. 8,000ths definitely will. So what do you say, gentlemen? What's your thought?
By too long, I'm wondering, since he's new to this, if he's thinking it's not to minimum spec.
That's possible.
So if that's the case, Foster, you've got a minimum and a maximum. If you're in the middle, you're okay. But yeah, like Mike said, it depends on the tool you're using to trim it.
Yeah, if you're using a Forster trimmer, you should have or Lyman or RCBS. None of those will give you any trouble. Like Mike said too, if you use the Lee trimmer, you can't do it.
No, because the Lee is predicated on the pin going through the primer hole.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mark, what is a Navy bellhop? Help me with that joke so I understand that, please.
Come on, Jason, don't give me that shit.
Well, I know what a bellhop is, but I'm just trying to put it all together.
Who carries the Admiral's bags?
Yeah,
come on.
I never worked with an admiral, so I don't
know. Okay, let's hear from the Marines in the channel.
Oh, and Navy bellhop is the United States Marine Corps.
Oh, I think we just lost Tanker 87 if he's even there.
I think he's still out playing
around. No, he came out of the field.
Okay.
That I know for a fact. He's out of the field.
Maybe he's lost.
So Prepare to Survive said Says sometimes cheap dyes or too much lube will cause the case to not pass the case gauge test, so that's a possibility. Looks like Robert forgot to do the plastic bag trick. So, Robert, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, when you're working on a gun, find a plastic bag, like a Ziploc baggie, and you put it in there. That way, when the spring takes off, it's still in the bag. Instead of what Russ had happen, which is bouncing off his forehead. What Jake used to have happen, which was losing it in his 70s shag cart. But you know what the good news is, Robert? Brownells will probably have that spring you need. And if you use the affiliate link through the firearmsradio.tv/reloading-podcast and use that Brownells affiliate link, you're going to be able to give us a little extra. So that's a good thing. So, Mark tossed a couple things in there. He said Sinclair chamber length gauge. I'm guessing when he's talking about the Lyman, it's probably not an actual chamber gauge. It's probably more the it's kind of like an aluminum plunk test without having the barrel. Essentially, it's just based off a spec. Usually, it's that silly group. Can't remember. Brain fart. Come on. Sammy. That's it. It's usually based off Sammy specs. And that's what they use. So, which chambers aren't necessarily the always the same size as what Sammy specs. So sometimes they're a little bigger, sometimes they're slightly smaller. So anybody who's on here live right now, if you go to Cabela's right now, you can order bricks of Cellier, S&B, Cellier and below or whatever, primers for $18.99 a brick. Do in-store pickup. If your store's near you. Otherwise, it says free ship promo code on orders over 50, but I don't know if that would cover the hazmat fee. That would be the only thing I would wonder on that. Anyway, so Robert lost the bag. Then you should probably check down to Walmart and buy some more. Johnny Max says, yet. Give me a coloring book and some crayons. I'll be entertained for hours. I have just the coloring book for you, Johnny Mac. And if I can get these guys to talk for more than 7 seconds, we'll grab it and show it to you. So, all right. So the Sinclair gauges are inserted into a fired, unprimed case and then chambered into your rifle. The insert pushes back into the case when it contacts the end of your chamber. Jim Madaw said, if all you have is the Lee trimmer, you can carefully decap the cases, trim them to length, and then reprime them. And yes, you can actually reuse the same primer. Some people don't, but I have. So as long as you keep it clean. Otherwise, you squirt oil down into the primers or WD-40 and let them sit. And then trim them. That's another option if you have the Lee. So other than that, I'm not really sure what else. I think that's pretty much all we covered.
We covered flash hole deburring inside and out. We covered incipient head separations. Didn't we?
Yeah, we did with my camera.
That's right. Yeah, the camera you got to go down inside the neck of it. 223 case.
Yep.
Excuse me. We trimmed it, we deburred it, we chamfered it.
Oh, so Prepare to Survive gave an update. The free shipping promo code does not apply to the $20 hazmat fee on the primers. So you can still get the primers free shipping, but you just have to pay the hazmat free. So hazmat fee. So Russ tossed also something else in there. If you're using RCBS dies, they resize to the maximum chamber size, not the minimum, to help with not overworking the brass. I did not know that RCBS. Interesting. So, nice. So Mark's local gun store will order special order primers with no hazmat free in 5,000 lots. That's nice. So that's another reason to frequent your local gun store.
How do they do that?
They probably just absorb the hazmat.
Hmm.
Or
what's the cost on those, Mark? Just out of curiosity.
The other option on that would be if he's ordering it with a stock order. Then, say if he stocks other stuff from, say, CCI, ammunition, then they can just throw it in with the ammunition, and then they wouldn't necessarily have to pay the hazmat fee because it's a normal ship. I know some people have done that with their local gun stores. So, you put your order in, but then you got to wait 4 weeks to get it because you're waiting for it to come in on a stock order.
Right.
All right. So I've got a couple more brass that I need to decap and resize. Been sitting here all week. Oh no! Do I have to relube them?
No.
All right. I like that answer. Correct. Beautiful. So once again, kids, that was Hornaday one shot sitting around in my garage for 1 week, and it still didn't. I am going to switch camera mounts here quick. I'm turning my camera off. Everybody enjoy the brief respite.
Whew, boy.
Respite from what, Jason?
He's ugly.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
I am brutally handsome, Mike. I'll have you know.
Beauty is subjective.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Unfortunately,
as well.
Cyclops, after he was blinded. So I got a better catamaran mount this time. I still don't have the really nice tripod that I want because my kid can't remember where he put it. Yeah, the choice. All right, so
remember, Mike, murder is illegal even if it is your kid.
And what did we say about illegal? It's only illegal if you get caught.
That's just the white man's law. That's all.
I would get caught right.
Let's not go there.
So here's a question for you. Does it matter which way you have your brass slide in and out?
Slide in and out of what?
Out of your press.
Your show holder, your die, what? What are you talking about, Mike?
In and out of your press. How you slide the brass into your press and then out of your press.
I'd say it's personal preference.
Okay. Why would somebody
personally, I would say it doesn't make a bit of difference.
Okay. But why would it make a difference? I mean, why would it make a difference on which way you put the brass in?
I mean, if you got your hand on the right side, most people's going to use their left hand to put the brass in the show holder. But if the knobs on the other side, on the left side, most of the time people are going to use their right hand. But then again, I mean, it's just kind of personal preference.
So if I've got it on the right-hand side, right-hand lever, it's easier to put it in here from this way.
Right.
So I can go a lot quicker. If I have it around like this, then I got to reach around like this. And then I got to pull it out. And see, if you don't have really good dexterity, you get it hung up on the shell holder.
Okay, so no, it doesn't make a difference. Make it so it's convenient to you.
Correct. What about on a...
One thing else too, Mike, I noticed you almost did just now, is get your fingers off the mouth of that case ASAP.
Oh,
right, exactly. I saw, yeah, because it will penetrate the bone.
yes, it will. Anybody who doesn't believe that can spend some time on Facebook, and you will see some lovely pictures. All right. So I've got all 15 decapped and resized. What do I do now?
Put them in your gun, see if they fit.
Why?
To see if they fit.
So you're saying I should plunk test them?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, see if the boat will close.
What if I don't have my gun here?
Then you wait. Or you could go ahead and reload and hope that you got it right.
So if I resized them with a resizing die,
the only thing you can do that isn't going to hurt anything is, are you wanting to reload the brass, Mike, or are you wanting to take us to continue playing devil's advocate?
both.
Well, the next thing you do in a normal reloading process, as far as I'm concerned, I would take the lubricant off of the brass.
How am I going to do that?
Well, you can actually wipe it off if you're using something like that one shot.
Okay.
You can tumble it, but but if you do that, you run the risk of clogging your flash hole.
Okay.
But you want to check your cases for a proper length. Jeremy and I just said, you want to check it for fit, but you say you don't have the rifle. It's locked up in the gun safe on the other side of the house, whatever, and all that sort of thing. But the next thing you can do too is clean the bottom of the primer pocket.
Okay. So what should I use to do that?
Well, a lot of folks just use a little flat Craftsman screwdriver, flat point screwdriver,
Okay.
little one.
Yep.
Like, the one some guys carry in their shirt pocket.
Yep.
And you can actually, most of all reloading companies, they all make prices. I know that Lyman makes them, RCBS sells them, and Lee makes them. All the big reloading companies do. Dillon doesn't bother because if you're reloading progressively, you never have time to clean the flash hole out anyway, or the primer pocket anyway.
What type of tool would I use? What would the tool look like if I'm trying to do it? I mean, is there, do I buy just one tool and is it all the same? Or is everybody making...
No, it depends upon your primer pocket size. It's you've got 223 caliber or style cases, and then you've got 308 Palmer. They all take 357 millimeter, 40, all those kind of calibers. They take small primers, so you have to use a small primer pocket cleaning tool. And a lot of the other cases use large primers, so you would use a large primer pocket tool. And obviously, Mike is looking for something. He wants me to keep going, but I don't know which way to go.
No, Mike knocked his X-Acto blade all over the place. So,
looks like you got a WFT right there.
Yep. World's finest trimmer.
Yep.
What's the nice thing about this is I don't have to think. I can just
That's good.
turn it.
Mike, you just walked right into it again.
Sorry.
No, I actually stated a fact. I don't have to think.
Yeah, it shows too.
All I have to do, take this, chuck it up in my drill, like so.
Nice Ryobi.
Thank you. Take my brass, push it in. The best thing about this one is as soon as it hits where it's supposed to, stops making contact.
Now, what is... Sorry, I've never seen one of these actually in action. What is that? I mean, does it use the shoulders as the stop?
Absolutely,
Yes.
Jeremy. That's exactly right. It uses the shoulder.
Yep.
Huh.
And you can set that pretty close. I mean, it'll repeat within 1.5, 2 thousandths. Depending upon how much dirt's on your brass, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Nice.
It's pretty good. It's very, very fast. Mike uses used his in a hand drill. I've actually put mine up in a drill press and set it on low RPM, and I can trim, deburr, and chamfer one coffee can full of brass in 1 hour's time. That's about 600 rounds. Depending upon the caliber, that's anywhere between 400 and 600 rounds.
I might have to take a look at that.
There's actually the second generation of the WFT. They called it, funny name, WFT2. Jason, isn't there some other stuff that they're sending? You showed us last week that there's Little Crow Gunworks sells. Didn't you show us some stuff last week or a couple weeks ago that you got from the Little Crow Gunworks?
I don't think so. I'm not recalling anything.
Yes, I guess they developed a few other reloading tool or brass prep tools, and I swear I thought it was you. Sorry.
Must be that old timers kicking in.
Yeah. What about your Gerard? What about your Gerard trimmer?
Tri-way trimmer. Works like the WFT, except for it chamfers and deburrs.
But it's diameter specific, isn't it?
Yes.
Diameter of the bullet/case.
Yes.
Meaning you can't do 224 brass and a 308 trimmer.
Correct. And Jim, when you mention trimming and deburring and chamfering, are you talking about the WFT, or are you also using a chamfer deburr?
Oh, when I did it, no, I used the WFT to trim. When I got done trimming all the cases, I would unchuck it and put in a. Matter of fact, don't have a pointer, but you see the long tapered thing on Mike's bench to the right of his? Yes, not that. Thank you, Mike. That tool that he just set out. That tool there, I would use that on the inside. The other tool that he picked up first, I would use it on the outside.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. That helps. Yeah, a thing with funny looking, sort of like brass stains in it. On the right, upper right row, top row, right side of the screen.
So what I have sitting here is I have a primer pocket cleaner, both large primer pocket and smaller primer pocket. I have a primer pocket deburr, both large primer pocket and small primer pocket. Then I have.
When you say deburr, primer pocket.
I think he means decrimp.
Well, it's not going to really do that. It more or less, if you've got any minor stuff in there, these are going to take care of that. They're not going to take out a crimp real well. They're not going to be a really good tool to actually form the primer pocket either. So, and back to the world's finest trimmer, Jim. That is caliber.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's caliber specific. The tri-way trimmer is diameter specific.
So it's both. You have to figure out what bullet you're using, or
yeah, with the tri-way trimmer, you can do 30-06, 308, 300 mag, 300 rum, that sort of thing. But with the WFT, it's set off the shoulder. Yeah. So that is absolutely caliber specific. So I don't know for sure, but I kind of tend to think you could use, if you knew how to adjust it properly, you could use a WFT set up for 308 on 30-06 brass. You just have to understand your brass needs to be quite a bit longer than 308.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that would work. You'd have
exactly. Nor do I.
So,
well, you're adjusting the cutter, which is attached to the shank.
Yes.
Which to me, it would be easier or more productive just to get one for each caliber for speed.
It's not rocket
unless I was laid off for 5 months straight, and then I would buy one and I would adjust it. But I'm too busy for that right now. All depends on what walk of life you're in right now.
Well, unless you're Jason Trumbo, adjusting a set screw isn't rocket science.
Okay, but let's pretend like you have, like, let's say 45 minutes to an hour 2 or 3 times a week to do that. Wouldn't it be easier just to chuck up a caliber specific?
It might be more time efficient. Yes.
That's where I'm at right now. Time efficiency.
Okay.
Okay. So
anyway, Jason, you're a bum.
I'm not a bum. You're a dick, though.
Oh.
What? Who said that?
No, my name's Jim. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Behave. This little thing here is the Precision Prep tool, also from Little Crow Gunworks. And
that's what I was talking about. So it wasn't Jason, it was Mike.
It uses regular Lyman bits, which if you have the Lyman tool already, which is just basically a screwdriver handle that these screw in and out. If you have that, then you can just buy the Precision Prep tool. And these just screw right in. As long as you can do that, which I seem to be efficient in this evening.
How does that work? That's off center.
How do you work? You're off center.
Put it down a little bit better into. Okay, you just spin it on the individual bit.
So,
Obi.
How this works is we take our brass, we take it like this, and it spins like that.
Well, I'll be doggone.
So, and then to clean out your primer pocket,
I will have to make me one of those.
Yeah.
What's that got a snap ring in there holding it together, Mike?
I'm not sure. I haven't bothered to look. So. It's pretty reasonable. It's only $30, so handy to have. If you're doing brass prep by hand, it's a lot easier to use. So than just trying to sit here and turn a screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the chamfering down, it does take a little bit of work to get used to getting it to not hang up, but the deburr part works pretty quick. So if you can see this on the paper, I don't know if you'll be able to or not, but well, that pretty little brass flakes, if it'll focus. There we go. That's all brass, just from those 4 cartridges. Now, the other way you can do this, or one of the other ways, is to use this thing, or one of the other ones like it. And what this is this is the Lyman Universal Trimmer. It has different pilot sizes, and then here is your length adjustment, and then brass just slides in like this. Like some of them where you actually have to have the correct shell hole and all the rest of that, and it takes forever. This is a pretty simple job. One set screw here to change out the pilot, and the pilot just comes in, lines up like so, and then you set your length that you need. It's not set up right now because it's currently set up for trimming down 257 Weatherby brass, which is somewhere around here. So that looks like this. Now, until you get good at lining it up, you're better off putting the pilot in first and then locking it down. And basically, it just trims and trims like that. So, and that's how that works.
Once you set your stop to the proper depth.
Right. And this isn't, because this has gotten jacked up for demonstration one day. I just wanted to show how it generally works. So, and as you can see on this, right there looks like dirt, but that's actually brass shavings. So lots of little brass. Somebody asked me once if you save all the little shavings and recycle them. Honestly, never have, because I never have enough. Now, if you're making 300 blackout out of 223 cases, probably. Or if you're making 308 out of 30 ad 6, yeah, probably. So, something like that you would. So Prepare to Survive said, why bother using a primer pocket cleaner when a primer pocket uniformer will do that along with uniforming the pocket? So
that's actually what I use when I clean my primer pockets. I just use a primer pocket uniformer, and it cleans it pretty good.
So what he's talking about, and I don't know if it'll show up. Where's it? Is not all primer pockets are created equal. So when you're sizing and then you're priming, when you look down into the primer pocket, you may not notice it, but the overall depth of primer pocket can be slightly different. And more importantly, where the side of the primer pocket meets the bottom, that can be not the same shape on every single one, because these are punched on most manufacturers. The whole entire piece of brass is punched. It starts out as basically a flat piece, or a piece of flat stock. It runs into the press and it punches it. Rim in, creates your primer pocket, creates the neck and shoulder to a specific size, and then they drill out the flash hole, and voila, brass.
They don't drill it out; they punch it. Most of them punch it through.
Most of them punch it. Some of them drill it, but most of them punch it.
Peterson drills it, but it creates a terrible burr on the inside of the case.
No matter who does what, it still creates a burr. Now, some of the better qualities also deburr the flash hole before you. Some don't. So, Nicky Mac said he uses the Lee Zip trim. I have never tried that. So, but basically that's the little thing that's got the pull cord. And I've heard it works pretty well. So I've never used it, so I can't speak upon it. But so what else do we need to do with the brass?
Who are you asking?
Anybody who wants to answer?
Well, obviously, you still need to inspect it.
Yeah. How should I do that?
By that, I'll visually inspect it, for one thing. Yep, you can get down inside of it with that tool that Mike's got shining light at the camera. But the other thing I was talking about was case necks and splits. That tool can actually identify those problems.
So
when I say split, right there on the case neck. A lot of times you'll see longitudinal cracks in the case neck up there. They may not go the whole length of the neck. Mike, you got a Sharpie right there? Put a little tick mark longitudinally on that case. So it's a mock split. If you would, please. I think I see a green Sharpie right there, Mike.
Yeah.
Just a little tick mark on the case to show what I'm talking about. That's all I need.
So is your
Yep, just like that. The case neck split. It's ruinous to the case. It will look a lot like Mike's Sharpie stain. Now, Mike will wipe that off, of course, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the worst thing you got. You got head separation is even worse.
So with head separation, how can we look for that?
I was actually just about to bring that up. I take a paper clip and bend a little L in the bottom of the paper clip, and I run it down in the case. I do that with all my rifle brass.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. Mike's got a much better way of using technology, and he just showed it to us. He can go clear to the bottom of the primer pocket, or the case head. Now he's actually looking at the walls of his case, and there's no separation ring starting in that particular case. There's something there, Mike, but it might be a reflection.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is
not the bright orange or yellow thing. I thought I saw case a ring separation ring starting. But I'm not there to see it. You have better control over it than I do.
So now you can see on this primer pocket hole, you can actually see the primer pocket itself, how it sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the hole where the flash hole there, where there isn't really any burr on it. So
at this moment, no.
Yeah, because it's already been.
Did you remove the burr that we're talking about?
Yeah. Now, where'd you get that little camera? Because I got a couple of cases I've picked up at the range just picking up brass that they have, a crack that goes about halfway around the case. So, I haven't loaded it, but I would like to look inside to see what, and see if the case head separation might look like.
I got it
through the case.
Through WOOT, but they don't have them anymore. But you can get them through Amazon or lots of different places. So,
Mike, didn't you say the head diameter of that camera and light is 0.224?
.225.
Oh, excuse me. So it'll just barely fit down inside of a 223 case.
Yeah. See if it'll fit down a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel.
Excuse me, a fired 223 case. What do you know? He's going down the bore of a rifle.
My brand new rifle.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's getting dizzy.
So.
Y'all should be used to that from the 60s.
Shut up, Jeremy. Actually, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
2 with 1 shot.
Yeah, you could actually use that to go inside a handgun brass if you wanted to. It'd be kind of like overkill, though. If you can't see inside a handgun brass, you need to do something else with your spare time.
Yeah.
You still playing with it? You still playing around with 45 and bullseye, Jeremy, or did you give that up? Give that up for Lent?
No, I had to give it up. It seems like one thing after another's popped up. So,
hey guys, right there, Mike's showing off a perfect burr on a flash hole.
Yep.
Nice burr, ugly, big old nasty damn burr. What that does, that interferes with the proper funnel, a cone of flame that comes from the fired primer, and it can slow it down because the metal is actually interfering with the dispersion pattern. You're not getting that true funnel of flame that you should have, an even spark, if you will, to ignite your propellant. You know, we talk about accuracy, excuse me, quite a bit in long guns. But, you know, I got to thinking one time, and I kind of embarrassed myself in a reloading room, but I put up a posting, can the same thing be done with handgun brass? And the answer is absolutely, positively, yes. You can take and go clear down the rabbit hole as far as you want to go with accurizing handgun brass.
Will you
trim it, deburr it, clean flash holes, square flash holes, trim for true flash holes. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. I think I interrupted you again.
No, I didn't wait for you to stop. So, here's the question: will you get as much out of it?
Chewing up handgun brass? Yeah. Well, that would really depend upon the shooter, and it depends upon the nature of what he's doing. If he's just blinking, no. But if he's really trying to take and get that quarter-inch group at 50 feet, and he's doing it from a rest, yeah, you could see some improvement. Absolutely. Is it practical? In my hands, no. But there are shooters out there that can hold it just like a ransom rest. You know, I mean, those guys are like shaking hands with a vice. And they're just about as steady as a vice. But is it practical to me? No, I don't even inspect my handgun brass pretty much sometimes. What I'm talking about is I'll take it out of the coffee can that I've got it in, throw it in a tumbler. When the inspection comes is when I'm actually handling it to reload it. Jeremy, have you ever, or Jason, no, Mike, you load handgun brass too. You ever heard of clinker?
Clinker? No.
Clinker. What I'm talking about is when you hear brass rattling around in your coffee can, you're picking it up, putting it down, you're tossing it in.
Yes.
In one particular one, good brass will ring. A split case will clink.
Yes, I have heard that.
Jason, how about you?
Yes, I have.
Mike? Well,
yeah, a couple times.
Well, the thing is, what I'm getting at in that sense is when I'm actually going through and inspecting my brass, your hearing can actually help with the inspection process in handgun brass. You'll hear that clink. Most of the guys that reload handgun brass know exactly what I'm talking about. No, but I said I don't inspect my brass. That's not true. All your brass needs to be inspected. After all, if you got an incipient head separation or a case neck split, you know what? That brass is scrap. Why bother reloading it? Save yourself the time and effort by inspecting it first.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was just agreeing with you. So, Jim Mada says turbulence in the flame from the primer with when you've got the burrs. And yeah, when they're spending time on these cartridges, especially some of the fancier cartridges, they're including what that flame kernel is gonna exactly look like for that powder charge. And if you have a problem with that flash hole, it can adjust that flame kernel and you may not get lit the way you're supposed to get lit, and you can lose speed because the bullet starts moving before all the powder's burned, or it starts after. It doesn't move at the optimum time. Let's see here. So a couple things from the room. RCBS has a 15% off plus rebate for March, Mickey Mac says. So, that's kind of that there. He was talking also about the Lee zip trimmer. It's kind of like a mini lathe. You can do everything in one motion. So, Jim Mada agreed with Jeremy about it. Reminds him of the 60s when I was going down the rifle barrel with the camera. So, Prepare to Survive says you can use it to look inside the car engine by going through the spark plug hole. If you can find the spark plug hole on today's engines.
And get it out.
So, Prepare to Survive said 357 or 44 mag bolt action could use the extra care to increase accuracy for handgun brass fired in a carbine. Yeah, that's a different story. So you're not going to really see much out of a 2-inch snubby. But because more than likely you're not a good enough shooter to be able to get the accuracy out of that 2-inch barrel. So Richard said roll them around. You hear the ones that are split, just like you guys were saying. Prepare to Survive said some 308 brass from PMC has off-center flash holes. Why is that a problem?
The same exact reason that the burrs in the flash hole on the inside of the case in the powder chamber of the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same exact reason, because it's going to give you an off-center burn.
Right.
The idea is, guys, you want that. Think of a solid fuel rocket booster. You want it to burn evenly from the whole column. You want the bottom of the column to burn evenly, thereby igniting the rest of the powder charge.
So I'm out deer hunting with my handy dandy 308, and it's sitting in my chamber as I'm walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking around because I didn't come up with a powder charge that made it a full case. My powder is now sitting at the level of this line.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the powder settles. Well, I've got some brass at the flash holes off center. So instead of being dead center, it's off to the side. And while the way this cartridge is sitting in that rifle, off to the side is on the top. So now, instead of hitting the back here and lighting the powder here and then all the way down, it's jumping over and causing the powder burn from the front to the back. What can that cause?
Oh, what's the word for that? Yeah, that's a good one, Jeremy, because that's about what it does. Not squib load. Squib load's the opposite direction. Kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because what will happen is it'll dislodge a bullet, and a bullet gets stuck in the lead of the rifling. And then if a bullet is stuck and you can't get the powder charge can't overcome that stuck bullet, it's up in the lead of the rifling. If it can't drive it through, that powder's got to go somewhere. You're talking 60,000 psi pressure, all within a few microseconds in the chamber of any gun or any rifle you want to think about. And you got a stuck bullet in there, and it's right by your face. Well, let's just say you and the plastic surgeon will get to know each other rather well for the next few years.
Yep. So yeah, prepare to. Jim wants got a question. We'll get back to that in a second. Yeah, but he said non-uniform flame from off-center flash hole. Yes. 5 said boom exploding gun like we did. Mark said detonation. Somebody else said hang fire, but no, not necessarily, because it's still going to.
Hang fire is more to do with the gun itself. Hang fire can be caused by ammunition, but usually it has to do with the gun, not the ammo.
Yeah, usually what happens with a hang fire, typically, is the firing pin is actually stuck, or the sear doesn't releasing the hammer to hit the firing pin, or in a striker fired, the striker doesn't. And so the firing pin doesn't make contact or doesn't make full contact with the primer. And then all of a sudden, even though the firing pin may be resting against that case, it gets that full kinetic energy, and it's enough to actually make it go off then. The other thing that can cause a hang fire is bad primers. Usually, if the powder ignites, unless you're running a ridiculously low charge and it happens to separate. But, like I said, usually.
Detonation is the word I was talking about or looking for. Because what happens is it can burn off the coating on the propellant granules.
Yeah. So basically, instead of a curve, prepare to survive said bad powder, wet powder. Yeah, that can cause a hang fire too. The primer can actually start to dry the powder out, and then the powder ignites. So we could sit here and go off all night on things that cause hang fires or other things, but just kind of give you an idea as we're going through of stuff that can cause problems. So
detonation was the word I was looking for too. That's kind of like in 243. If you use too slow of a powder and you use too little of it, it can cause a detonation at 243.
Absolutely.
And that's all over the internet. I've read a lot about that when I was first doing a reduced recoil load for my daughters. And the big reason why I went with H4895, because it can safely be reduced in 243.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely. As prepare to survive with reduced loads of slow burning powder usually causes problems. So, absolutely. All right. So, just want to take time to thank everybody who sends us emails, because they give us great questions, like a couple we've had tonight. Especially thank everybody who joins us for the live and gives us more. We're going to save the rest, because, as far as brass prep goes right now, at least for these 4 that I trimmed and everything, cleaned the primer pockets, these are ready to go. So you can clean the lube off if you want to. Do that. Honestly, I'll just wipe them down after I get them loaded. So, but yeah, as far as that goes, brass prep, for the basics, we're pretty much done. There's more advanced stuff, and hopefully I'll have dies to show that next week. so we can show bump and shoulder back and how to neck size versus full length resizing, that type of thing. So now I think we're done for the night, and it's been a little over an hour, so we did start a couple minutes late. Like I said, I want to thank everybody who sends emails. I want to thank everybody who texts us. And oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, we can cover annealing also. So the different types. And so what other stuff can we do with brass? What other advanced things can you do? There's annealing, neck sizing.
Part of inspection would be looking for ejector marks, ejector port marks, meaning you've had so much pressure that your brass begins to flow into the ejector port. Those are cases that I would consider, putting into the scrap brass bucket.
Okay.
Checking case capacity.
Yep.
Yep.
We were waiting for you to pull that one up, Jeremy. Thank you.
Yep. Bushing sizing. Along the same lines as neck sizing. Uniform neck tension, which there's different ways to do that. So that's some of the stuff we'll cover next week. Some of it we can show, some of it we probably can't. But we'll talk about all that stuff next week. We'll go into annealing and what that is about. We'll talk about neck turning, why you would do that. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about next week. So yeah, obviously we're doing 3 shows on brass prep. There's a lot of stuff you can do with brass, and kind of proves the point of it. This is probably the single most time consuming of the process. So I want to thank everybody who swings by firearmsradio.tv/podcast and hits the Amazon and the Brownells links. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Helps the network, helps us. And if you have some extra money laying around that you want to send our way so you can win stuff and see us play with stuff, then you can go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge-reloading-podcast. And that will give you the link to our Patreon, or you can just go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com and search for Reloading Podcast. And we have $1, $5, $10, $20, and $35 levels. And there's various things that you can, on the $5, $10, $20, and $5 levels, you're eligible for the equipment drawings. Like we've given away a few things, giving away some more stuff. And we greatly appreciate everybody that has money laying around to be able to send us. We know how hard everybody works for their money. The fact that you're willing to share it with us so we can continue to bring this stuff to you is awesome. Just want to thank everybody who is able to do that. We know not everybody is. For those of you who aren't, get out your smartphones, your computers, or go to the library or wherever and send us an email. Or if you don't, and you still got to use a payphone, you can go to 608-467-0308 and leave us a voicemail. That's right, folks. We take voicemails, text messages. So lots of different ways to get a hold of us. Lots of different ways to help the show. I want to just take time to thank everybody. This is episode 194. That's right. Episode 100. That's pretty darn amazing. So, just blown away by the continued outpouring and support that we have. It's just awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for letting us do this. We're happy to be back with video and be able to show you stuff. It's just awesome. So, And, 2 episodes in and another one to go. Brass prep really does suck. But there's something about shiny brass, so keep your brass shiny.
Keep your powder dry.
Aim small, miss small.
And squeeze. Don't yank that trigger.
Squeeze it like it's Sherman!
Quit wiggling them fingers, Mike. You're on.